Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is on the Missouri. You do get this in the shop with steel, so it does take a while to get. I just got mine today, and have been playing it today. So for me, Missouri is historically important. For those of you guys didn't know, Japan signed their surrender on the deck of the ship. That's why it is a very historically important ship. But enough with that. Let's get into the commander build that we have on Mighty Mo here. We have New Jersey. Now, whatever American commander battleship setup that you're normally doing, if it's Sims, whoever it is, will work just fine. This is just like Iowa or New Jersey if you have either one of them in the game. So whatever you are using on that, use on Missouri because you'll have them obviously by the time you have the steel to buy Missouri. Um, so we are using for inspirations Scharnhorst, Pablo D. Ravel, flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, firefighter. Don't you love it? And our legendary skill is fight fire with fire. For our upgrades, this is one thing I've been doing on American battleships because you don't get aiming systems mod 1 in the first modification. I've been using AA gun firing range, the AA gun mod, for the American battleships that don't have awful turret traverse. Some of them actually will have some worse, especially in tier 5 area. However, Mighty Mo has decent turret traverse, so it's around 32 seconds, I think, naturally. So I decided to pump up the AA guns and definitely have liked that. So for the second modification, you could go with steering gears or prop mod. This is one battleship where I actually debated on it for a while. The rudder is not great on Mighty Mo, so that's why I did my tiebreaker went into that. But because of the radar, sometimes you find yourself trying to sneak in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So prop mod wouldn't be terrible. And for the third mod, we are taking concealment. And for the fourth one, we are taking the American plotting room mod 2. I think eventually I will go ahead and put steel, or upgrade this with steel to put that on. For your loadouts, you have 3 solid heals and 2 radars. 9.5 for 30 seconds, which is very good. The only problem you have, guys, is these are not as effective as the ones that you see on American or Russian or British cruisers. The reason why is the ship has been out so long that everybody knows it has a radar. And the destroyers have a tendency to run away from this, and you are less sneakier than a cruiser. So it's a little bit harder to use this radar. So I have a tendency to hold these more than I would normally on radars. With that being said, it is a good radar, but because of what ship it's on and how long this ship has been out, people are very aware of this radar. More aware of this radar than I've ever seen played on any other ship. So just keep that in mind. Don't just try to drive right in and radar. A lot of times the destroyers know it's coming. So for the specs on it, 65,000 health. And this does have the American 16-inch, the Mark 7, so they're not as lobby as like the Constellation or Alabama. These are the Iowa class battleship main 16 guns. Reload at 28 seconds, and the 180 time is 32 seconds, so it was correct on that. So not terrible, even though we're taking the AA defensive mod, and this thing will, with that mod, absolutely shred planes. Um, for the most part, wouldn't say it's as good as some of the American battleships, but very solid. Particularly if they get within to like 5 or 4 kilometers of you and they start shredding planes. Um, Without the IEF or AA defensive upgrade, it's still solid. But a lot of your AA is at 4, 3.5 kilometers then, so a lot of your bombs or torpedoes are getting dumped by that about that point, and so I find the AA mod definitely a little bit handier. Maneuverability 27 knots through 920 turning circle and a 15-second rudder. You can see the rudder is not ideal and the turning circle is not ideal, but it's Iowa class. By now you should be used to it. Concealment 3.2, like I always say, you're not going to sneak up on a dead moose in open water with this thing. So that's part of the reason why the radar is a little bit harder to use on this. Like I said, people see it coming. Statistics. Holy crap, have I had bad luck with teammates on this. I generally don't complain about teammates. I got this ship today. I played 9 matches in it, and I have gotten my butt kicked by my teammates more than the opposing team. The only ship I've had this bad of luck at is the Kitakaze, which you'll see that in an upcoming guide. We've been working on the Japanese destroyers, but uh, not that I've had the most amazing numbers, but they're definitely pretty solid. To have 1 million potential damage in each match, killing 1.5 warships for me is particularly good because I don't kill steal. So them are generally, that's generally pretty solid. And about 100,000 average damage to ships. You can see the issue isn't necessarily with me. I've had a very unlucky with teammates. And not only have I been unlucky with teammates, but the matches have ended very early. So we'll even go here and check just so you guys can see maybe even a couple of them. Just so you guys don't see the ship is bad. You can see here, we're first or second every time on these matches. So you can see, we just didn't have ideal luck with teammates so far. And like I said, when our matches end early too, it can be super frustrating. With that being said, I've also been kind of unlucky with the main guns on this. I know they're good and they're accurate, but I have been unlucky with it with only 35% accuracy. And it's not just from long shots, just unlucky. That's all. There's nothing wrong with this ship. It is a great ship. With that being said, you have this giant superstructure. You have a 32 millimeter bow, so only Musashi or Yami guns are going on it, which is great because you can use this thing to bow tank quite a bit. As you can see, here is the Citadel, which is not normally a problem. If you stay angled in this ship, as you can see right here, you have decent belt, but if you don't angle in this ship, you will absolutely get wrecked. It's an Iowa class battleship. I shouldn't have to explain that too much more. You're probably pretty used to that by now. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form, so keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. With that out of the way, we're bottom tier here, and we have ourselves quite a long match. It's going to come right down to the wire, and was a fun one to do. Now, we're going to take a shot at the Alabama out at the longest part of a range. Now, I wish that Schroeder had showed itself a little bit earlier because American battleships just dev strike that thing. In the last 2 weeks, I've had more dev strikes on the Schroeder compared to anything else in the entirety of the game. There's nothing even close right now. I don't know why. I'm probably sailing broadside in them. Schroeders, but they are. So anyway, we're going to go in. Now, we're not spotted, and this is where I decided to be aggressive. I was clearly going for the flank here because of the speed and getting crossfire. That's one of my favorite things to do if I start out on the very edge. You can see we're spotted by the ship, but you can see pretty soon here I'm going to start checking the island to see what the distance is. As you see, we know there's a destroyer in there. He's clearly camping, but this is one of them things where we're going to talk about. So you see 11-3. I do that a lot with my aiming, kind of tell. Normally I'll do it for torpedoes, and we're going to try to take a shot at the Schroeder, but he gets behind the mountain here. That Schroeder is going to be a little bit annoying for a little bit. So I pop my radar because obviously we're close, but the destroyer obviously has left. I was hoping that maybe he had popped out to my right so I could see if he was going to go out to my right. That is not the case. You can see our carriers over there spotting. We're going to take another shot at Alabama. I know these are accurate guns, and I'm not trying to say they're not, but myself, I've had super bad luck with the guns. You'd see our first salvo, we had we had a decent salvo against Alabama, where we had a bunch of shells hit. That one we had one. Now I get it, it's at range, but you're gonna see some shots here that are pretty crazy. We're only in this entirety of the match. I think we're only gonna hit something like 50 shells in the entire match. Lady Luck has not been on my side today while playing the ship with teammates, and you see we hit the Schroeder pretty good, even though he is, pointed outward towards us. Lady Luck has not been on our side. So then we do see the destroyer, and he has finally made it over there. So, like I said, destroyers kind of expect, a lot of players know that the radar's on here. Probably shouldn't have used that radar anyway at the time. So we're going to go back out to the flank, and there's a couple reasons for that. All our teammates are in the middle of C, which is not an ideal play. It's going to make them very easy to kill. So I want to get out to the flank, particularly to get rid of this Schroeder, because the Schroeder could be a real issue for my teammates in the middle, and maybe catch the destroyer off guard out here. That's my big reasoning for it. As you see, we're going to take a look at broadside Schroeder here at 14 kilometers, and we, kind of figured he was going to slow down a little bit, and we get the Citadel, 2 shells hit. We only needed the 2, obviously, but for him, if you're playing an American battleship and you end up being around a Schroeder, it is really easy to get rid of. If once they put themselves in a position where you get a lot of their broadside, you can absolutely wreck them things. So next up is I'm trying to help save my teammates here, but it's not going good. We've already lost our battleship that pushed in, and now the 2 cruisers are starting to go down. So you can see we're going to take a shot at the ZF-6. Now, this is a long shot, but we put 6 shells downrange because I had nothing else to shoot at, and I like getting rid of destroyers. And you are going to see we're going to get a hit on them. So that seems to be the common theme. I can hit destroyers in this thing at range, but not a lot of everything else. Even though I know these are accurate guns and they're just being unlucky, guys. So the guns on this are just fine. I've just been very unlucky and also not been taking the best shots as our carrier, takes down the mains, which is nice for me because I don't want him to shred all my AA. That's what the HE spam does. And when there's a carrier match, you don't really want to keep that. So you're going to see our teammates that have all been in the center cap together. Clearly, that has not paid off for them. Now, I could have stayed to the outside and maybe finished off Alabama. I actually expected Alabama to move in more, and I thought he was going to be more here taking on this cruiser, closer in. That's what I expected. So But at any rate, we need to get in here and help get this cap because you can see we are currently losing. They have 2 caps to our 1, and they have more ships than us. Well, now it's tied now as we got rid of Alabama. But I'm trying to keep an eye out for this destroyer. This destroyer is going to be a pain in the butt, though. So we get the carrier spotted, and we shoot, and you can see it didn't get very lucky on that salvo. He's not moving in that first one. So right now we're really just worried about the capture. We're gonna go ahead and shoot again at the carrier. Our carrier player on, I've been very unfortunate with teammates so far today with this ship. However, our carrier in this match did very well, in my opinion. He notices that we kind of have this flank, and he starts to get his carrier in a better position where he can help. And he definitely does help quite a bit in this match. So we're going to take one more shot, but the mountain's in the way. And we're not going to get anything really through. Now, we have a radar, so I do want to push up and get rid of this destroyer with the opportunity that I have. So we're going to keep moving up. Now, right now, I don't have a shot at the destroyer. Otherwise, I would take a shot at the destroyer. We have to take a shot at the carrier again here because we just don't have the shot. So we're going to go just above the auto aim a little bit just to try to get at this distance. You can kind of get it to plunge sometime, but you can see we do get only 3 of our shells hit, big old carrier, and 2 of them deflect. I probably should have aimed it a little bit lower at the water line there to try to get them to go through the back. But you can see our destroyer is completely throwing himself off to try to get the kill. Not the best play in the world when you know there's another destroyer right there. And you can see our destroyer is 100% going to go down here. Again, their carrier is doing a good job of trying to get away from me. You'd see right now it's not looking good at all. It's 5 ships to 3. We're losing everything that there is to kind of lose. But we're gonna go ahead and Balti thinks we're not paying attention to him. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of Balti. Because Balti, given the right player, can be absolutely devastating, especially on my broadside. Now, this is one thing I do. I'm trying to keep the carrier within distance in case our carrier decides to see again. And I take some pretty solid damage from Carl here. But to be honest, at this range, I'm not really scared of a Carl. I'm angled just enough where he's not going to really citadel me. And we're going to keep an eye on this ZF6. This ZF6 is going to be the thorn in my side this whole match. As you can see, we haven't been able to get him rid of him, even though we've been basically striving straight at him this whole match. I wouldn't recommend chasing destroyers, but this guy, because of where his health was and our ability to have a radar, I definitely, in Missouri, you can definitely go after destroyers. And you can see we missed there at 11 kilometers. I actually thought we were going to hit once, but as you can see, Carl has not been able to do much to us, and Schroeder is holding him off. So I was trying to get ready to save Schroeder here, but he goes down. He probably would have stayed angled there, we might have been able to save him, but we're going to take a shot, get rid of Carl. And we're going to keep moving up. I know that so far my carrier's been pretty good at spotting. When I've asked him to spot, he spotted that carrier for me. So I let him know, hey, need intelligence. I don't care on what. Either the carrier or the destroyer. I prefer the destroyer because I can handle myself against the carrier in this thing pretty fine. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and just hit our radar just to make sure no torps or he's not in range to maybe help get the carrier spotting him a little bit quicker in that scenario because our carrier is going to be around. He's not really at risk. And you can see the AA is doing pretty good on the damage, or on the uh, planes. We're going to take another shot at the carrier. This carrier survived way too long. As we get 4 of the 6 to hit, but again, not getting a Citadel. Now, here is the Schroeder with a double fire. I'm going to let that burn because I'm located, which very well could be the destroyer right in front of me. Now, with my front guns, I'm going to 100% get rid of the carrier here. He's got not much health left. And we're going to go ahead and then turn our attention to Schroeder. I am well aware, as we get our high caliber, I am 100% am well aware that it could be a destroyer here, but based on what I've seen, he's his wanting to run away from me. I'm kind of assuming he's running away from me. That's why I'm not really doing a whole lot of dodging and weaving right now. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit. You'll see me start and stop once in a while, but it that's about it. I've kind of just assumed this carrier was running away, as we do let them fire, or the not the carrier, the destroyer was running away. I get some pretty unlucky salvos here, and this is the kind of the luck I've had today. Out of the 6 shells at 11 kilometers, 1 hit and it bounces. This is the only Schroeder that I've ever run across that didn't die the second it saw an American battleship. I don't know why, but that is just the way it is. But again, my carrier player, very good player, so kudos to him, bails me out of this fight. For some reason, I cannot get a hit on this Schroeder, and he gives me his side plenty enough times. But we're gonna wait because we've been seeing him give up the side here. You can see it, but he's gonna go again. He's gonna over angle, and you're gonna see we're gonna put 9 shells downrange at 10 kilometers, and you're gonna see it. 2 of them hit. 2 of them hit at 9 kilometers. An American battleship. I couldn't believe my luck. But again, our carrier does a good job of bailing us out, even though we've had some pretty unlucky aim with, or unlucky salvos come out of this, and some of it's been a little bit of problems with aiming too, obviously. But we get our Kraken, which I had no idea we were even close. But you can see I really had to kill him right there. We just got into a range of our secondaries, or his secondaries, and he was going to melt us if we didn't. So that was about as close as it could have been. He gets 2 more seconds of his secondaries on us, we might not even survive that. Now here I turn in, uh, just because I was spotted at first, but as soon as that thing goes down, apparently this destroyer was just terrified of me because he did nothing but run from me the entire match. I mean, this destroyer I chased all the way across the entirety of the map, basically. But we would have gotten a 6 kill if he got spotted, because we probably would have got the first look at him with the carrier spotting for us. As you can see, our carrier with 2,000 base XP, we with us with almost 3,000. So kudos to the carrier. Almost a clear sky, but we got a dreadnought, Kraken, and a high caliber to help our team win, and a base capture and a battleship. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.